Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Michael. And we're moving on. We're probably in, well, let's see, last week was the beginning of the assignment for the third uh, project. And that is really to kind of put all the things you've done before into some format that someone else could look at and understand and see. And we're starting kind of tenuously with this idea of a sitemap. It's a kind of an antiquated idea, but I think you guys did a great job in using it kind of what it's for, which is to count how many things you may need to put on the screen to help people move around. And the more things you have to put on the screen, the more understanding you're going to need of navigation styles and different purposes for navigational items, right? So if you went and looked through and found these, and if you looked at other people's examples, remember the point of this is that you're going to need to use it, or a couple or three or four or however many you need this week in order to show how someone moves around. Now, fortunately, this week is just going to first be about putting your HTML into a format that we can look at it. And I will let you know a kind of a hint is that you probably won't show everything at once. I'll be more strenuous. You don't have to show everything. That's remember all those sections that you built? Maybe it's only one section you need to show because most often things start out as some sort of list, right? You show as many as you can really, so some person browsing gets to see something. And I'll stop there. One thing about this class is feel free to try something and if it doesn't work out, we can fix it. And that's my hope is this is a very iterative and hopefully you learn by doing these things so that when you get to your final, each of these sections that we went through, the structures, the visualization, the navigation, all these will be part of looking at another service and critiquing it, or at least taking it apart, so to speak, and tell me how it works. So you're doing it in order to understand, like, hey, if I did a sitemap of Instagram, uh, that would actually be interesting. Fortunately, as I said down here, we're not doing mobile, which makes navigation even harder. And yeah, it's its own beast, and we all live with mobile and touch navigation every day. So I don't want to say that it doesn't exist or that it's not important. I'm just saying for now we're just kind of seeing what this looks like, and I don't want to stress you out over not having enough room to put things. So I went through as many of these as I could. I hopefully gave you feedback. My biggest look was to see that the top layer, first of all, doesn't include things like popularity. Remember, we haven't even learned those things yet. We haven't even kept any metadata, which is a topic we get to in week 9. So still a ways away. So sitemaps do give you a idea of how many things you're going to have to cram on the screen, or better yet, that you try to consolidate groups of these concepts into higher level groups. Meaning, I think it's pretty much what I was trying to demonstrate here with Airbnb is they could have tens of thousands or millions of properties, but they're kind of trying to consolidate them into things that you'd like to do. And that verb, that idea of a verb, is one I just hold to my whole career as being something that people really want. They're usually here for some reason. They aren't here to browse the stacks in the library, so to speak. They're here usually for a purpose, and then they can be distracted from that purpose. And we can learn that later about how you can move people around. And this all goes back to the point of IAs being helping with wayfinding, right? They want you to find what you want, but to ask someone, tell me exactly what you want, and I will give it to you, is not going to be necessarily a successful strategy yet. All this is worth exploring and learning about, right? We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to figure out, like, how do I look and see the depth or breadth of my topic? And the more there are, the more I think you will find it's going to be hard to cram all that together. And so you got a taste for it. You got a little bit of an idea. So let's get into this week's goals. We're doing wireframes. So many of you might be familiar with this term. What is a wireframe? I want to say that it's really just a kind of a low fidelity drawing of something, So I'm kind of saying over here, if you want to draw this on a piece of paper, all I'm really interested in, where are the words and what words are you using? And some of the other things like pictures and stuff aren't important, except how much space do they need to take up, right? How much prominence? I kind of put a thing in here. This is a little old fashioned, but people still don't use it. You can actually take a database in Figma and you can mark up your records. That again might be, it was great in its day. Maybe there's a cooler way to do that. I would think maybe now there's some AI way to do that, but no, there's still a way to connect even Airtable to your Figma drawing, which is great when you have tons of repetition. Remember, we're back to trying to actually, we want to use this in order to mark up our records. So one thing about it is, how did you get to these records? What navigation is clicked upon? And how do your records display? What does that HTML markup look like in this instance, right? This is one way you can demonstrate that. And that's why I said you can hide things, show things. As I said, the whole point of, or not as I said, but my hope is that this week is about just sketching and to try to find out. Hopefully, Figma isn't too hard for you guys to use, but it makes it a little bit neater than drawing. Um, but yeah, just show, and same thing. Just paste in a picture of one page, and then next week we're gonna demonstrate a flow, and that'll get into showing how your person actually navigates and goes and looks in a record, maybe looks at details and such and so forth. But this week it's really just about, what does that record look like? What does the data show? Kind of what does the structure of the navigation feel like once it gets onto a page? And as always, happy to give feedback. And please look at other feedback from other people. We're all in this together. I hope you all realize now you're all kind of solving the same problem again. Maybe the data changes, the words change, but the approach shouldn't be terribly different. So use other people's ideas. And I still look for, from this week, maybe something imaginative, right? You don't have to organize everything just by nouns. So that's a stretch goal. Thanks so much.